It is tame. The next special run is a mule, which I don't know if this is going to count as the non-horse model or not, but anyways. This girl is themed after a drink in the Scandinavian countries known as Aquavit. She's done in a dun on the new mule mold known as Winifred. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't draw mules, but oh well, let's get into it anyway. Since the model is themed after a drink like this, I can't help but assume there has to be like a little bit of like a toast involved. So I think I'm going to theme her with kind of a hopeful expression, because when you do a toast like that, feelings of hope and joy and friendship are present. So I think I'm gonna soften the gaze, give her a very hopeful expression, and have her do a cute little head tilt looking over her shoulder with her big, adorable mule ears. Hello everyone, and welcome back, or welcome to Morgan Mirror Studios and part 2 of drawing all the BREYERFEST 2026 special runs. The special runs drawing tradition we love. Okay, getting into it with a quick sketch. Right off the bat, this sketch had to undergo a lot of changes and a lot of reshaping, reforming, redoing, erasing, lots and lots and lots of erasing and more erasing and redoing and erasing and even body chopping at one point. As you can tell, as I fight for my life to get a good sketch in, it was very hard to get a good mule sketch in since I wasn't as familiar with their anatomy, since they have a slightly different build than horses, and I wasn't as familiar with this pose either. Mules also have a very different face than horses, so it was pretty hard to get a good sketch that I was happy with for the most part in the beginning. But sometimes that's just how art is. So even if it's hard and even if you're losing motivation, don't let complacency get the better of you. Keep going, keep trying again, and don't give up on what you have. That's your motivation for the day, kids. It's called Eraser Beating ASMR. Where you been? After I have a sketch that I'm happy with, I'm going to go in and start adding in my dark points. Aquavit is a done mule, so for my dark points, I want to make them honestly extra crispy. On her nose, her muzzle is almost outlined, but at the same time, it is also a very soft outline, but the color change between the muzzle and the rest of her face is quite drastic, so I need to make sure that I'm making it soft, but not too crispy on the edges of her muzzle. She also has a dark point in the very middle of her face, kind of going down her nose. It is just a little darker part of her face. I want to make sure to get that in there as well. To shade in the rest of the face, I fill in little gaps but leave the majority of the face white, just filling in nice and light, but not so light, but not too dark, around all the cracks and crevices in her face, and then I will take a Q-tip and or my fingers and blend all of that out. And now, my favorite and arguably most important part of the sketch, the eye. I say this in every video, the eye will make or break your drawing. I wanted her eyes to be very expressive and very sweet and have that hopeful expression that I was talking about in the beginning of this video. So I'm gonna have her eyes open all the way, slightly raised, but not so raised that she looks like terrified, side-eyeing saddlebred. But just enough to have that sweet expression that your horse gives you when you go in to open their stall And they give you that sweet face, like, oh, I like the face that Reggie makes me. He's like, hi, Mom. And I'm like, ah. And moving on up, now I'm gonna do her ears. Oh, did I underestimate the difficulty of mule ears? Oh, they're just bigger horse ears, she said. Famous last words, she said. In all honesty, I don't fully know how to explain my process because I was 100% going with the flow, desperately trying to figure out what I was doing, pulling up reference after reference. But just like with the sketch, don't be complacent, keep going until you have something that looks good and that you are satisfied with. Now that her sweet face is done, I'm going to move on to the rest of the body. Just like with the head, shade in the darker points. The difference between the head and the body is she is lighter on the underside of her body, like kind of at the bottom of her barrel, and then on her chest, even a little bit on her shoulders and on the underside of her neck. So I need to be careful and make sure to make that noticeably lighter than the rest of her body. We are officially seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Time for her little leg tiger stripes. I'm going to use the same method that I did with the muzzle, and I'm going to make it a little bit, like just a little bit lighter around the edges, just light enough that I can blend it out and make it look nice and soft, but definitely make it so there's a noticeable change in the color. She also has a little stripe on her shoulder, so I'm going to get that in as well, exact same as what I did with her legs. Now that I have all of my shading in, it is time for the time lapse of my hair by hair detailing. I hope that this piece acts as artistic inspiration, but also just for a little bit of motivation today, for if you face something that's a little bit newer or a little bit challenging, or something that even if you're familiar with, that for some reason is suddenly challenging to you, don't quit and don't be complacent with it. You gotta keep going, no matter what, because the result is worth it.